I'm sitting in there with federal prison inmates, and that's supposed to be shipped off. That's waiting to get shipped off, but they can't get shipped off because motherfuckers is dying. So they done stop the transportation. So we got all these damn inmates, prison inmates that's in there with us. That's just waiting to get shipped off to their camps and everything like that. So that shit be
Crime Talk 369, prison stories on the line, New York rhythm in the spine. If you did it or you didn't, you gon' feel it in this rhyme.
You want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people who you are and where you did time?
I'm your boy Blueprint, man. I did time in Liberty County in Georgia.
So where you from?
Jacksonville, Florida, man.
When you first went to jail, were you nervous?
I really was just I wasn't nervous. I was actually I was numb about the situation. You know, I went in with the first 2 days thinking like that I was going to be right back out. You know what I mean? Then going in front of the judge, and he well, not even the judge, the magistrate. They didn't even let me go to court. It was just the magistrate just being like, yeah, no bond. That was kind of heartbreaking to me. No bond. And then I ain't have no court date. That didn't come with no court date, you know? So it was just like I was dead ass in jail, just kind of like sitting. For sure.
So you know, you're an artist. You're recognizable on TikTok and you do music and stuff.
Hey, put this shit on tube. You can bring your sister or your friend, let's have a three-way. Rolling with a star, better love with how I do.
Did people recognize you? Did they try to put you in PC?
Yeah. They put me. Nah, they ain't trying to put me in PC. I was definitely out there in population. But nah, people did recognize me. I went in. It was kind of crazy. The first time I went in, white dude came up to me. He was like, "I know you." I'm like, "I don't think so. I ain't even from here." Like, I'm from Jacksonville. I'm over here in Georgia. Like, I don't think you know me, bro. He like, nah, I do. I was like, "Where you know me from?" He was like, "Are you on TikTok?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You make music, right?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." He like, "My girl follow you and she sent me your videos." So yeah, man, it was crazy. So yeah, definitely recognizable. And I got shown a lot of love in jail. So a lot of things that I would say a lot of people dealt with, I didn't really have to deal with. It wasn't nothing where I was like any type of beef or any type of like fights that I had to get into or anything like that. Like it was a lot of love shown throughout my whole entire dorm. You know what I mean?
Now, did you see situations with other people?
Nah, man. Nah, not in the place I was at. It kind of died down. You see like screen matches and shit sometimes with people hollering, but it really wasn't a thing where people was putting hands on each other for real. At least not in the time that I was in there. Nobody was putting no hands on nobody or nothing like that. So man, I heard so many different prison stories and shit. Luckily, I didn't have to go to a prison, but I done heard so many different stories, especially just walking in the door of prison and having to like pick a side. You really do gotta pick a side when you go into prison for the most part, you know? Crazy dynamic for real to be up there in prison. It got its own way of living up there. Like that's a whole different ball game.
And you said you in Georgia prison.
Yeah,
Georgia jail.
Yeah, them Georgia prisons. It's a lot of people that's dying. They got lockdowns going on, and like they wouldn't even. I'm sitting in there with federal prison inmates, and that's supposed to be shipped off. That's waiting to get shipped off, but they can't get shipped off because motherfuckers is dying. So they done stop the transportation. So we got all these damn inmates, prison inmates that's in there with us. That's just waiting to get shipped off to their camps and everything like that. So that should be crazy for real.
Yeah, it's a dangerous place, man. You go, especially a Georgia prison, you go there, you're liable. Somebody can just hit some K2, freak out and think you did something. I done heard stories about that. Yeah. People kill people just because they were high and they thought stuff.
Mm-hmm. They real there be walking around that bitch with motherfucking knives and machetes and shit. Like that shit get treacherous for real. It's a lot of youngins right now in there for sure. when I was walking around the yard, when they first let us out there to the yard, when I first get in there, go out there to the yard, and it's two young cats, and they sitting up there walking around the yard, and they kind of like hearing about the same story that I'm presenting right now out here, and telling them about the military, and telling them about I'm a firefighter, and telling them about being a gangbang at one time, and telling them about there's more to life, you know. And I had to kind of preach that to them, and it kind of helped them be able to see all of this in a different aspect, and they wanted to be able to achieve more after this. And I'm trying to tell them, like, there's life that's bigger than the city that you're in right now. Like, I done been across overseas and seen the world and seen so many different things, and it's a lot more that's bigger. And some people be in a real small town mindset where it's like they feel trapped and they feel like they can't get out and they don't know nothing else, and you got to kind of like push it in their head that it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the same type of mindset, you know. So bringing that to them and letting them know kind of add something new of value to them, you know, for sure.
Now, to a young person, you know, that somebody looks at your story, what made you decide you was right there at gangbang, you started it, but you stopped and you switched out and got your life together? What stopped you from that?
It really just didn't really, it wasn't serving me no real purpose. And I think I was able to understand that early. And I know a lot of people find that out later on and want to drop their flag and stop banging their set and this, that, and third. But it kind of just happened for me early, and where it was just like, yeah, I'm bigger. I want to achieve bigger. And like, how is this going to benefit me, you know? And it's like, nah. And then especially being locked up, for sure, and hearing the different stories of other people being locked up and their whole game just not really like being there, it kind of, you hear all that stuff early on. So at least for me, growing up in Jax, so you kind of already hear all that stuff early on. It's like, I don't even want to go through that.
Yeah, a lot of people, they figure this out later in life. I'm glad that you seen what it was and you got out of it then and there.
Thanks.
You're talking to a young person right now. What kind of advice would you give them to stop the life of gangbanging and stuff, and, you know, don't even go down that route? You're talking to them right now.
For sure. If I was talking to a young person, and I even preached this on my TikTok page, the Free Blueprint page, where it was like, make it look fun. You know what I'm saying? The people, artists, other people try to make this look fun, but it's not a fun place to be. And it's boring. It's honestly boring. It's boring to sit in jail. It's boring to wake up and not be able to go nowhere, not be able to be on the outside, not be in control of when you're going outdoors or when you come back in, or being able to drive off. And it's not a good place to be. And I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. And if I'm talking to a kid, there's so many different things and there's so many different ways for you to be successful. And you got to be able to look within yourself and do it for yourself and want more. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna believe in you more than you. You know what I'm saying? You got to be delusional about what dreams that you want to achieve. The quick way, the fast life for money, you know what I'm saying? It sounds good for a moment, but the longevity in that and the end of that, it ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to stress to anybody that's younger to just believe in yourself and always just believe, like they told me as soon as I went to jail, that I'm bigger. And you believe that you're bigger than this. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna lead the right way.
That's the thing about it. You don't see any old gangbangers. You don't see any like gray-haired old gangbangers out there. It doesn't happen.
Nah, for real. You sitting up there, you got Big Meech that just got out. It is like, man, he had to sit there his whole entire time. He done missed out on his son and missed out on all these different things. It's like, it was fun while that shit lasted, but that shit get old, man. And then you gonna go to jail and then you gonna sit up there, or you gonna go to prison and you gonna get old. So ain't no point in sitting there wasting that time. You build a life, see your kids, have a family, get a wife, like have a life, man. There's a lot of people that go through there and I swear, I seen this the whole time I was locked up, where it's like niggas will go to jail, either they'll be in and out, or they'll go one time and they'll end up back in there. Like, you shouldn't be able to go in jail and know the CO that was in there 7 years ago, and you got to see them grow in there. Like, that shit is dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not nothing to be proud of. You don't want to be 35 years old, 40 in jail trying to like go through the same thing you already been through. That's dumb. Like, that's literally the definition of insanity, man. Let's sit up there and be doing the same thing and get a different. Feel like you're gonna get a different result. You're doing the same thing and you get like, that's terrible. So I definitely would stress that don't. It's not the place to go.
So, is there anything memorable that happened in there that you can think of?
If they go check out the Free Blueprint page TikTok, we had it going on in there for real. Like I said, I'm not appreciative, but at least for me, I made it fun for the guys. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of gangsters and a lot of killers and people that don't rob and all these different things that I was able to make light of the situation that we were in. You know what I mean? Making videos and laughing and doing trends and being like, oh yeah, I do TikTok, and they get to see like a different version. It made people real deal like turn gangsters into kids for real, you know? So yeah. That shit, I think that shit in itself was just fun to see. You like knowing the background of certain people and knowing what they done did out there in the streets, and us being locked up and these charges that we could have against us. And I was able to bring them together. You know what I mean? Literally had a standing ovation when I left out of jail. You know, they really wanted me to be bigger than I am, and they really wanted me to achieve that. So them being a part of that, I enjoy seeing that for sure. And I'm glad that I was able to at least give them that breath of fresh air in life. You know, I had this fat ass commissary bag, like, full of stuff. You know, I was well taken care of in there, and I made sure that, like, before I left, I made sure I gave my whole dorm everything. You know what I'm saying? I gave them all the food. I passed it out to everybody. Made sure everybody got the soups, got the chips, got the juice pouches, got everything that I had. I gave that shit out to everybody. So I think that was probably they say that was one of the realest things they done seen somebody do. You know, usually they just give it to your bunk mate. You just give it to your bunk mate, anything that you got, you know. But no, I think that was probably like, it was just cool to see all that as a whole, and me being able to be a vessel for that was probably the coolest thing. There was a lot of laughs and jokes that were shared throughout that time in jail.
What platforms are you on?
Yeah, man, I'm on everything, man. Blueprint Harris out there on YouTube. I'm a Blueprint on Apple Music, Pandora, Spotify, anything you can think of. TikTok, Instagram, Blueprint Harris.
So what's for the future?
Right now, with me just being out, like I said, I literally just got out. I got my trash bag and all my wipes and shit. All my wipes and stuff, literally just got out, man. So right now, I say the goal for me, and I thought about this the whole time while I was in there, is just coming out and being bigger as an artist and a TikToker, streamer. I'm just trying to build my platform and continue to build my brand to the biggest capacity that it can be.
Well, I'm glad you went in there and you seen that wasn't life, you know. Yeah. And I hope you stay on the right path, man, because you seem like you could be like a role model to some of these youth. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, for sure.
The same way you was in there preaching?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost like a street reverend, man.
Yeah. What kind of music do you do anyways?
I would call it like melodic, but I would say R&B. I like R&B, singing to the girls and shit like that for sure. But just as a whole, melodic. I got a lot of different things that I touch on throughout the music. I'm putting together. First thing I want to do was hit the studio and put out a new album. I was supposed to put out a new album one before I got locked up, so I get to put out the album now and add into the experiences of being in jail, you know, and getting to see how people move, you know, when it comes to like being real and who's fake. You really get to see that while you're in jail. There really don't be a lot of people that stick around. And then maybe there's some people that may not even know but they just be like, where is he? Where did he go? So I think that was like seeing that is real deal, make you so I get to talk about all that stuff on the album. You know, I'm your boy Blueprint, man. Stay out of jail. It's all love, man. Make sure you follow your boy out there, Blueprint Harris, everywhere.
This generation is a lot smarter than we were, you know. Well,
this generation
this is your generation, right? Yeah.
The generation for sure is a lot smarter, but man, they a little bit more aggressive, man. I'm in there with youngins, and they in that bitch talking about, man, I gotta kill my co-defendant. Like, damn. Huh? Like
yeah,
that shit.
Man.
Hear shit like that, I'll be like, damn, these niggas ruthless. That's crazy to hear, you know. But
yeah, it's just like, though, when you get to prison, and some of these prisons, man, like people be dying like nonstop. When you get around real men that's been in there years, they ain't all up there in the head. I've done seen some of the craziest stuff, and I just hate for a young person to go.
And that's the part that you gotta avoid. Like if you in jail and you can get out, you gotta get out of. You gotta hurry up and get up out of there. Do what you can to get out of there, because if you end up going to prison, man, people in there ain't got the same type of opportunities as you no more. You feel me? They done lost out on being able to get out. So they like, fuck it, you know, it's gonna be a crab in a motherfucking pot. They gonna try to pull you down along with them, you know. So
yeah,
it'd be crazy.
I try to tell people, like, people in prison, they don't think the same that we do out here. Their mind is completely different. You go to somebody in there and you're having a conversation, you can just be having a simple conversation the whole time. They're calculating everything you're saying, trying to benefit them. You know what I'm saying? You don't even realize it.